Okay, Angela, Marcus, and Susan, are you back?
Yeah.
Okay. Angela, are you there? Angela? Yeah, okay. All right, so we'll continue with what we did, okay, before the break. So we just went over how to get the story, right? We found our A and B, and then use that to figure out reflection, amplitude, new period, and size of space. So how are those going to help us get the new graph? Okay, so the next part is to figure out the table, okay? So for the X values, okay, we'll look at our page 49 now. Okay, step one, right, to figure out the table. For the X values, you will use your size of space. Okay, you can make a note. Use size of space. Because size of space is related to your period, right? And period is horizontally connects to X values. Okay, it tells you how long it takes for the whole graph to complete. For both sine and cosine, the X value always starts from 0. Okay, so your first X is always 0 for sine and cosine. Right? After that, because the size of space is pi, that means you are always going up by pi, okay? Each space is pi. So you keep on adding pi, okay? So you add a pi, okay? And you add another pi. And you add another pi. You add it 4 times. Okay? So 0 plus pi will give you pi. You add another pi, it will become 2 pi, right? 2 pi plus pi will give you 3 pi, and then 4 pi. So that's how you get the X values for the table. Okay, can you raise your hand if you understand how to get the X values? You just start from 0 and then keep on adding pi because your space is pi. If your space is power 2, then you add power 2 each time. Okay? Eric? Jocelyn, Nick, Philip, Susan, any questions? How to get the X values? Okay, this one has no reflection, okay? So you don't need to worry about switching either way, right? Upside down, left and right, okay? So right now, just simply keep on adding, okay? Jocelyn, any questions about X values? Jocelyn?
No.
Okay, then you can raise your hand, okay? Do you know how to use that? Okay. Now let's look at the Y values. For the Y values, you will look at the amplitude, right? Amplitude affects your Y, okay? Your amplitude is 3, right? So all the Y, you need to times it by 3, okay? So you look at the original, the basic Y. So everything times it by 3, it'll be 3. 0 times 3 is still 3. 0 times 3 is 0, right? Negative 1 times 3 will be negative 3. 0, 3. Okay, so for the Y, you use amplitude or the A, right? Use A to figure it out. Okay, so you multiply by A. Let's change it, okay? Multiply by A. Any questions? Okay, this part should be pretty easy. Okay, now we just need to plot the points. Okay, so when we plot the points, we are keeping the same scale as before. So every 2 boxes to the right is pi. Okay, pi, 2 pi, 3 pi, 4 pi. Right. Going up is also by 1, 2, 3. -1, -2, -3. Okay, so follow your table. Okay, finish the plots and raise your hand. Okay, make sure you connect them correctly. Okay, don't draw straight lines. Okay, our first point is at 0, 3. So up here, right? You see it's taller, right? Compare with the left side. Please raise your hand if you finish the graph. Pi is at 0. 2 pi is at -3. 3 pi is back to 0. 4 pi goes up to 3 again. Open down, open up, right? For each space, make sure you curve the right direction, okay? Open up, open down. Okay, please raise your hand if you're done. You can see it's much bigger, right? Even though we keep the scale the same, it's got vertically expanded, right? Amplitude is now taller, right? This part is your amplitude. Your period gets longer as well, right? 0 to 4 pi, right? That's your period. Okay, please raise your hand. Yeah,
I have
question?
a question.
Yeah.
So if there was like a translation,
Mhm.
how would we know like which one it is?
Yeah, translation, I won't cover that today. Translation, you will see an adding or subtracting in the question. So
Okay.
for example, like on the next page, something like this one on the screen, do you see it?
Yep.
Yeah, there's a subtract one, so there's a translation for that one.
Okay.
Okay,
So we're gonna learn that next week, right?
yeah. Okay.
Okay.
We'll combine everything together. So like this one on the screen, you can see a +2 to the x, right?
Yep.
And there's a +1 at the end. So those got to do with translations.
Okay.
So today's homework, you don't have any translation. Just make sure you got your table, right? You need to show the table, the story, okay, and the graph correct, okay? Make sure those ones are correct. Translation will be much easier, okay, compared to this part. Please raise your hand if you finish the graph. For each table, you must show 5 points, okay? Okay, Caleb, are you done? Okay, So let's back up a bit, okay? So when you get a question, the very first thing you should do is to look at the A and B. Find out what's A and B, okay? Once you have the A and B, you write down the story, right? Reflection, amplitude, new period, size of space. Once you figure that out, you can use it to get your table. Once you got your table, then you just graph it. Okay, that's the order of doing the question, all right? So let's try a brand new one here. This time we have a sine graph. So our first thing is to find out what's the A and B, right? But this one is written in a weird form, right? You can see that there's a 2 pi, there's an x over 3, right? It's so weird. But whatever that's after sine, right after the sine, you can put a bracket around it. So everything there is together. But it will be better if we write it so then it's easier to figure out the A and B, okay? So that's what the arrow is for, okay? So we're going to rewrite it. Negative 1.8, we'll just keep it where it is, right? But then after the sign, the 2 pi is in the numerator, right? Because this has nothing underneath. As nothing underneath, you can think of it as 2 pi over 1. So I'm going to rewrite it as 2 pi, and then 3 is in the denominator. I'll write it as 2 pi over 3. Rearrange a little bit. It's still the same as question, but we rearrange it so it's easier to identify the A and B. Okay? Sometimes the question needs you to rewrite it first. Any questions here? Okay, please write down the values of A and B now and raise your hand. Oops. So sometimes the question, they leave it like this one, right? 2 pi and then bracket x over 3 to confuse you, right? So you might think, oh, how come it looks like that? Where's our B? Okay, but if you rewrite it, rearrange the fractions, then it becomes clear what's B. Right, Philip, what's A?
A is negative 1.8.
Very good. Nick, what is B?
2 pi over 3.
Yep, 2 pi over 3. Okay, so everyone please use the A and B to find the reflection and S, the amplitude, new period, and size of space, okay? So once you've done that, please raise your hand one more time. We'll check those answers first. Amplitude, new period. Okay, second time should be faster. Okay, size of space. Only do the story right now, okay? Translation is still none here. There's no add and subtract, right? So no translation. Complete the R and S, and then raise your hand. Okay, let's start with a reflection. Chris, what's the reflection here? Do we have any?
Reflects over x-axis.
Very good. Reflect over x-axis. Okay, we have a negative on the A, right? We get reflection over x-axis. Okay, Caleb, what's the amplitude?
1.8.
Very good. Okay, so please ignore the negative sign when you talk about amplitude or new period. Okay, now to find the new period, Evan, how do we find new period here?
You use the 2 pi, and then you divide by the b.
What's the B?
2 pi over 3.
Okay, 2 power 3. Make sure it's positive, right? And can you simplify it as well? 2 pi divided by 2 power 3. Evan?
Just 6 pi over 2 pi.
Yeah,
It's
and then simplify even more. 6 pi over 2 pi, reduce it.
it's just 3 pi.
Yeah, 3. No pi. Pi cancels out. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah, 2 pi times it by 3 over 2 pi. Right? The 2 pi and 2 pi will cancel each other. So you're left with 3. Okay? That's your new period. All right, size of space. Marcus, what's the size of space?
Isn't it 3 over 4?
Very good. Okay, we can do 3 over 4, and or you can put it into decimal if it's divisible, right? 3 divided by 4, that's same as 0.75. Right? 3/4. Easier to do the adding, right? Or the graphing will be easier too. Okay. If it's not a repeating decimal, then you can keep in decimal. Okay, so those are our main values to use, okay, for our table. Now follow the example that we did before. Please find the table, okay? Please get the 5 points and raise your hand. For the X, you use the size of space. For the Y, you need to multiply by your A. But remember, this time we are doing sign, okay? Everyone pay attention. We are doing a sign question. So your sign questions, your basic Y is different. Okay, before was cosine, right? This time is sine. So your Y value, you don't start with 1 anymore, okay? So make sure your Y value, you use the correct ones. Okay, raise your hand if you have all the 5 points. Does anyone have question how to get a table? Let me know, okay? And I can explain again what we did before. You find all the X first, okay? And then find all the Y, okay? Don't do point by point, okay? It's slower. Okay, let's check the values. Okay, most of you are done. Okay, Caleb, can you tell us how to get the x values?
You add 0.75 from 0,
Yeah, so the first is 0, next one.
0.75,
And then go on.
1.47.
No,
I mean, sorry, 1.5,
mhm,
2.25,
yeah,
3,
okay, very good. Okay, so if you want to check if you added right, you look at the beginning, right? You look at the end. They are 3 apart, right? This is your period. 0 to 3, right? The distance is 3, so that matches your new period. That means you added correctly, okay? If you find the distance is longer or shorter than the period, then you did something wrong in between. All right, now for the y value. Remember the y value, this time we have to use your sign. The sign starts from 0, right? 1, 0, -1, 0. You have to use those 1 to do the multiplying. Okay. If it's cosine, then you start with 1. Okay, this one is a sine question, so you need to start with 0. All right, so Susan, what are your y value now?
0, 1.8,
1.8.
0, -1.8, and 0.
Okay, the rule is to multiply by a, right? Yeah, Susan. Okay, what's the value for a in this question?
-1.8.
So you should multiply by -1.8.
Yeah.
Okay.
You.
So is it correct? Do we need to fix it?
Yeah.
Okay,
You need
which
to
one?
switch the signs of the ones that are written right now.
Yeah, okay, so the first one should be -1.8 and then +1.8 for the second one, okay? It's the amplitude that you need to keep it positive, okay? But when you're getting the points, you just multiply by the a values, okay? If a is negative, you times it by the negative, okay? If it's positive, you multiply by positive, okay? Only amplitude, period, those ones, you keep it positive because those are talking about length. All right, now we got our points, right? How do we graph it? Make sure you draw the scale first. You look at all the x. The maximum x is only up to 3, right? So don't do it like this. 1, 2, 3, too small. Okay, don't do it like that. You can make your 1 bigger, 2 bigger. You design your own scales. And then because we want to plot some decimals, right? You see the fraction is 3/4, so you can divide it into 4 parts like that. So each one is 0.25, okay? Make sure you try to make it evenly, right? Each little space is 0.25, a quarter, okay? and then a quarter. Okay, and then a quarter each. Now, if you look at your y values, right, the maximum it only goes up to 1.8. So you can do 1 and then 2, right? Because 1.8 is close to 2, just approximate, okay? You don't need to go by 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, okay? That's fine. Because I will be checking your table as well, okay? As long as your graph is not too far off, it's fine. Right, so once you set the scale up, you can follow all the points and graph them, right? Please raise your hand if you finish the graph.
Can you explain one more time why for the x, why isn't it 0.75 pi over 2? Because I thought we were multiplying it by the original values.
0 point. For the x?
Mhm.
Okay, for the x, we don't multiply anything. We just use our size of space. What's the size of space here?
Oh, it's 0.75.
Yeah, and then you take that number, you keep on adding. Keep on adding.
Okay, I see now. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, it's the y value that you need to multiply with the a. So remember the y values, okay, you need to use the original sign points. Okay, depending on the questions, make sure you pay attention to that little detail, right? If it's a cosine, your y will start with 1. If it's sine, your y value starts with 0. Okay, please raise your hand if you finish the graph. Our first point is at 0, 0 here. 0.75, 0.75 is 3/4, right? Negative 1.8. So somewhere here. 1.5 will be at 0, right? You can see it's coming back up, right? Go down, up, and go up again. Go up 1.8. It's at 2.25. Equally spaced, right? 3 back to 0. Open up, open up, open down, open down. Okay? So the ways you get x values and y values are different. So make sure you got the notes down, all right? So you remember how we get it. Please raise your hand if you're done with the graph. Okay, so if you are almost all done, right? We are gonna try one more, okay? Remember in the quiz, we had 4 questions, okay? I'm gonna pick one for you to make a table, right? Since you already got the R and S, right? Amplitude, all those things done. So just practice making the table, right? We're gonna do question 3. Please make a table, okay? Make table and graph. Okay, just for number 3. Make sure you scale your graph properly. Okay, so I'll let you complete all the way, right? So make a table and graph. Once you've done that, you can raise your hand.
We were only doing number 3, right?
Yep, just number 3.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. So you should have enough examples, right, for you to follow in the homework, right? We've done quite a few today. If you still have questions while doing the homework, you can just leave message on WhatsApp or Google Classroom. Remember, question 3 is a cosine, okay? So be careful, not a sine. So your y value doesn't start, make sure the number you start with for the y is the correct one. 5 points. Okay, anyone has questions or still feel confused about how to get the table, let me know. Okay, let's start with the x values, okay? If you are done with the table and graph, please raise your hand. For the table, for the x, you use the size of space. right? You start from 0. Size of space is pi over 3. Already found that. You keep on adding pi over 3. Right? 0 plus pi over 3. So that's pi over 3. And then 2 pi over 3. And then 3 pi over 3. But don't leave it like that, okay? Make sure you use pi. Reduce it. Okay? 3 pi over 3. 4 pi over 3. Okay? So you keep on adding pi over 3. But if it's possible to reduce your fraction, please reduce that. Now for the y value, because it's cosine, so you need to keep in mind cosine starts with what? What's the starting point for cosine, Caleb? Caleb?
2.
Starts with 2.
I'm sorry, 1.
Yes, starts with 1, okay? And then?
Oh, 1. 1, 0, -1, 0, 1.
Yes, okay. You just follow the clock on the axis, right? For cosine, it'll be 1, 0, -1, 0, and then 1 again. Use that to remember. Now, all the y value you times it by the a. Our a here is -5. So you times it by -5. It'll be -5, 0, 5, 0, -5. And you're done, right? Shouldn't take more than 5 minutes to get the table, right? If you already got the story. Now, how to set up the scales?
Wait, Jason.
Yes, Daniel?
I thought it was 5, 0, -5, 0, 5.
Yeah, but because a is -5, right?
Yeah.
So we times it by -5.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, so the whatever a is, that's the value you use it to times it by the y. But the amplitude will be 5. Okay. Amplitude, you ignore the negative sign. All right, because this one has a reflection. It has to flip upside down. Now for the scale, right? For the x, you can see the biggest is a pi, right? So you can put a pi here. And because your space is over 3, so you could divide it by 3, like that. So you get a pi over 3, 2 pi over 3, right? 3 pi over 3, 4 pi over 3. Make sense, right? That's how you set up your scales. And then for your y value, your biggest is at 5, so you can go up to 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there you go. You just follow the table. 0, -5, and then 0, and go up to 5. Remember, it's not straight lines. So you have open up, open down, open down, open up. Okay, do we have any questions about the graph? Okay, if not, we'll call it a day. If you still have questions about this, okay, please stay after class. And I still have 3 missing homework from Marcus, Evan, and Jenny. Okay, please stay after class. Okay, rest of you have a good weekend. We still have 1 more class next week, okay?
Thank you.
Yeah, you're
Thank you,
welcome.
Jason.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
See you, Jason.
Jason.
Thank you.
Bye. Okay, Yosher, do you have questions?
Yeah, I just have a question about like registration.
Oh, okay, right. Registration is tomorrow.
Yeah, but I'm just wondering, because I'm not gonna register for next semester.
That's right. Yeah, you're done, right, at school?
Basically, I've done all the trigs and logs.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So I was just wondering if there's gonna like be classes in the summer.
I don't think so. Yeah, this summer we don't have class.
Okay, so
Yeah.
do I like join next
Yeah, in September there should be calculus.
September for calculus?
Yeah. Are you gonna take calculus?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Um,
So
okay.
in
So
September. Mhm.
how do I get like the registration information for like September if I'm not gonna be
Okay. That you have to call the principal. Okay.
Okay.
And then because I don't know when he will have the calendar ready for the September. Yeah.
Okay.
So you will contact him directly.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank
Okay.
you.
You're welcome. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, Jenny, you have questions?
No, I'm just gonna let you know when I'm done
Okay.
or if I have any questions.
Yeah. Oh, Evan left. Okay, let me call him. All right, Marcus, do you have any questions?
No.
Okay.
You saw I handed it in, right?
What's that?
I handed it in.
You
Homework.
already did?
Yeah.
Let me refresh. Oh, okay. Let me check. Okay. I didn't know. Single. Yeah, looks pretty good. Okay. 38, 30. Yeah, okay, looks good. All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
Have
you.
a good weekend. Yeah, you're welcome.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Hello, Evan. Hi. Are you there, Evan?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, okay. So I saw your picture, but you submit two of the same ones.
So the exact same ones? Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't. Okay, sorry about that. I meant to submit the second page.
Yeah, I was trying to call you, but couldn't reach you.
Oh, sorry about that. Let me just resubmit it then.
Yeah, submit again. Let me know, okay, when you're done.
Okay.
Okay.
I submitted it.
Okay, let me check. Oh, okay. Looks good. All right. I'll see you next week.
All right, see you next week. Bye bye, Jason.
Bye, bye, Evan.